Alright guys, welcome back to Bad Luck Garage. We are on our way to the drag strip. We're finally going to get some runs in Steppenwolf on the turbo. See how that's going. We got our all-female pit crew behind me here in the Avalanche. It's the wife and the youngest daughter. They're going with me to hopefully to help me film, and you know, so you don't just have views of the cockpit through this whole endeavor. And they're bringing all the equipment, you know, brought air compressor, stuff like that. So I learned a couple things when we went to the no prep at English Mountain. One thing I learned is I think I'm going to have to drop a whole lot more tire pressure in these drag radials to get them to hook. So we're going to try that out and see what happens. All right guys, we are at the drag strip, so I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to get out here, let some air out of the tires, and we'll try this thing out on low boost first. We're shooting more for mile per hour than actual ET today. I just, you know, the whole point of this is to see if I'm making as much power with the turbo as I was on the nitrous. So that's what we're after today. Let's see how it goes. Boost till almost half track. That was weird. That was really weird. Thank you. Didn't get any boost till about half track. That was just, I don't know, that was weird. I'm gonna check out my data log here and see what the heck happened. Okay guys, so here's the deal. I have absolutely no idea what happened on that last run. I didn't build any boost until, God, almost 3,500 RPMs. And I mean, I felt the kick when it came in, but by that time I was already at like half track, and we ended up just barely running in the 8s. So again, I don't know what happened, but in addition to that, I'm blowing freaking oil everywhere. Like it's blowing out oil twice as bad as it was before. So none of this happened to me on the street the other day. You know, when I was trying it out on the street, I was not dripping any oil. It was holding steady boost, 6 pounds on low boost, 10 pounds on high. I really have no clue what just happened. I'm going to try to make one more pass in it, and if it does this again and blows oil everywhere, we're going to have to cut it short, guys. I'm sorry, but you know, I don't want to be that guy that oils down the track. So let's see what happens. I'm not getting any boost. That's what's up. complete garbage. Wow. 2.37 60 foot, and I ran a 883 at 88 miles per hour. I don't know, guys. I'm not wasting any more time at the track today. I'm gonna have to go home and figure out what the fuck's going on with this thing. I'm not happy right now. I don't know what's going on. We're not building any boost till half track. I have the boost controller turned all the way down, both stages just all the way down. It's not building any boost till about half track, and then when it finally does come into boost, it's fluttering around 10 pounds of boost. In addition to that, we're blowing oil all over. I don't know if you guys can see that, but the inner fender well is soaked. All right, guys, here's the deal. I'm really frustrated, but I decided to try one more thing. I wanted to see if maybe that cheap eBay boost controller might be causing the issue. So what I decided to do, I borrowed a pocket knife from a guy, cut the line, and I just ran my reference line straight from the turbo to the wastegate. So all we should see on this run is 6 pounds of boost. I took the controller completely out of it, so we've got no way to turn the boost up at all. I just want to see if I can get a clean run in on 6 psi. So that's where we're at. Let's try it out. We're done. We just went slower on 6 pounds of boost than we went all motor last year. Thank you, sir. Yeah. A 240 60 foot, y'all. And we ran a 918 at 84 miles per hour. We were running faster than that on the just on motor last year. So we're gonna go home. We're gonna try to figure out what the damn problem is, and we'll just go from there. Robbie Smith. This guy's actually my wife's cousin. He's the guy that rebuilt the rear end in Steppenwolf for me. So I'm gonna see what he does in his dragster here. It's like a 478. All right, guys, we are back home, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I was so stressed out after the drag strip that, well, you know, it's St. Patty's Day, so me and the wife went out. We had a couple green beers, and now here I am. 2 days ago, when I was out street tuning and testing it, if you remember in the video before last, I was talking about how my Hero session went dead while I was testing. But, I mean, it was pulling strong. Everything seemed good. I even went from a couple digs. And I mean, obviously it was spinning a little bit, but you know, generally it builds boost. I mean, like, it's pulling me back in the seat by 2,500. When we got to the drag strip today, I noticed first thing when I was doing my first burnout, it sounded kind of funny. Okay, but I thought, well, hell, you know, I've got the helmet on. You know, maybe I'm just not hearing it right. Don't get me wrong, the truck seemed like it drove fine all the way to the drag strip today, so I didn't really have any hint that anything was wrong. Well, I get there, did my burnout on the first run there, and when I took off, it didn't seem like, you know, if you guys look back to like the no prep that I was doing, I mean, now granted, it never launched like a beast because it's got a stock stall converter, but you know, it was coming out of the hole a lot harder. It was actually just destroying the tires. That's why at the beginning of this video I was talking about I was going to let air out to get it to hook and everything. So it came out really slow, and on the first run it didn't, you know, not only did it take off slow out of the hole, but it wasn't really building any boost until almost half track. And then about half track, I felt it hit, but not like it normally does. I mean, normally it just starts pulling me back, and you can even see in the video, I mean, it wasn't, you know, it was like it just wasn't there. The really weird thing is, you know, my times just kept deteriorating, okay? So, you know, I had the first run, then on the second run, it actually went 1 mile per hour slower, and you know, a tenth of a second slower or something like that. And what was really weird is you can see on the second run, like it was having trouble just doing a burnout, guys, which I have never had trouble doing a burnout in Steppenwolf. I mean, since the LS swap. I'm talking about before the turbo, after the turbo. I mean, usually I'm at the breakdown, I smash the gas to the floor, and it's just instantly just starts lighting them up. Usually I don't do it that way. Usually I kind of ease into the gas, but in that second video or that second burnout, you can see I'm like, you know, you can even see it on my face. I'm like, what is going on here? Because I'm like trying to get it to do a burnout, and I had the pedal smashed all the way to the floor, and it just was hopping and just barely turning them over. And then finally, after a couple seconds, it lit off. But and then on that run, it came out of the hole just like a slug. I mean, I could have took off faster in a stock 92 Honda Accord with an automatic transmission, you know. I mean, I don't know what happened. Anyway, I looked at my data log, and sure enough, I was not building any boost until almost 4,000 RPMs on that run. I mean, I had like, I think I was at like 120 something KPA at 3,800, I mean, which is nothing, what's that, a couple pounds of boost tops. So anyway, I thought maybe it was a fluke. So what I decided to do is go back and play with the boost controller a little bit. And by play with it, I mean just pretty much shut it all off. So like I said, at the top of that first run, it was fluttering like it was, I don't even know how to describe it, guys, but the boost gauge was fluttering between 6 and 10 PSI, but it did not feel like it was putting out, you know, 10 PSI. And on that first run, my mile per hour was 88 miles per hour, which, you know, I guess I need to explain that. In case you guys don't know, is mile per hour is the way that you determine your horsepower at the track. You can take your weight and your track speed, your mile per hour, and, you know, do the equation, and it'll give you around about how much horsepower you're putting out. Mile per hour isn't dependent on wheel slippage. It isn't dependent on how hard you come out of the hole. None of that really affects mile per hour. For the most part, the only thing that affects mile per hour is your horsepower. So at the beginning of the video, when I was talking about the only thing I wanted to do was see if I was going to run the same mile per hour as I did on the nitrous. That's why, because I wanted to determine if, you know, if this turbo was putting out as much power as the 150 shot of nitrous did. ET is not an indicator of power. And the reason ET is not an indicator of power is because anything can affect it. Wheel spin, you know, again, back to my stock stall converter, okay? You can have a crappy stall converter like I have and run a, let's see, what did I run on the nitrous? I think I ran an 805 on nitrous last year, and my trap speed was right around 94 miles per hour, or 93. Yeah, it was 93 miles per hour. Now, just to put that into perspective, I saw a guy on the forum the other day that was running 720s in the same truck with the same setup, same engine, same shot of nitrous, 150 shot of nitrous, same gear ratio, everything is my truck, okay? I think he had like just a tiny bit bigger cam, but everything else was the same, all right? His mile per hour was 1 mile per hour faster than me, but he was running 720s, okay? So that tells me he was just making a little more horsepower than me, but he had, a better stall converter and he was getting traction. Therefore, he ran almost a full second faster than me, even though his terminal speed was almost the same. That shows you we were making about the same amount of horsepower. That's the best explanation I can give you for why I was looking for trap speed rather than times. I knew my times were going to suck because I've got a stock stall converter and I've got a turbo engine that has to spool. I mean, obviously, my time's going to suck, but my trap speed should be the same regardless if I'm making the same amount of power. I hope that makes sense. So back on to what happened today. Again, I have no clue. I actually, I was mad. Me and the wife went out and had a couple beers. I actually shot some messages to Hunter over at Hunter Tuned and was kind of telling him what had happened. And something else that I noticed was on the way home, the turbo was whining really loud. Like usually I can't really hear the turbo until it starts spooling up. Well, I was just cruising down the highway doing probably, 1,800 to 2,000 RPMs, and it was just, just whining loud. It usually doesn't do that. So I don't know if the bearings are going out in it or what. Hunter said, did you check the shaft play? And at this point, I was out with my wife and I was like, no, man, I was mad. I dumped the truck at the house. We went out to eat and grabbed some beers. So, but when I got home tonight, I went ahead and checked the shaft play. Guys, I have very minor. It just barely wiggles a little, which on a journal bearing turbo, you're going to have just a tiny bit of shaft play, but it's nothing excessive. So I don't know what happened. Somehow between 2 days ago and today, I lost a tremendous amount of power. And you can see in the video, I disconnected the boost controller to take it out of the equation. And after I did that, I saw something funny on the last pass with no boost controller. Normally, just run straight to wastegate like that, I would hold right around 6 pounds of boost. I'm not sure if you guys can see it in the video. I actually changed the angle so you could see it, but you can see my boost gauge is just barely, it's kind of nudging 5. It's bouncing around between about 4 and 5. It never even hit 6 PSI on that final run. So again, I just don't know what's going on, but I do know it's really frustrating. It's frustrating to the point that I'm kind of glad I had this channel, because honestly, at this point, if you guys weren't watching the channel, I would probably rip all this turbo stuff off, throw the headers and my old exhaust back on, throw the nitrous back on, and say heck with it, because I know what it can do on the bottle. This is my first turbo build, so I wasn't quite sure what was going to happen. I knew the turbo. I've said from the very beginning that the turbo was not underpowered, but too small for this engine. But since I wasn't looking for like big horsepower, I was just looking to make maybe around 450 to 500 at the wheel. I was hoping it'd be enough. Maybe I've just overworked the turbo. Chime in, guys, if you're like a turbo guru. If you've got any ideas, let me know, because where I'm at right now is I'm thinking I'm going to take the turbocharger itself off and take it apart, dismantle it, probably measure everything in it, and seek out some help from somebody professional. Just be like, my measurements on the compressor side, this is my measurements on the other side. How should this be acting right now? I know this turbo made 460 wheel horsepower on a 6.0 in a 98 Firebird formula. I know that. John's seen the dyno sheets of it. That was in a rear mount configuration. In my mind, I'm thinking with the turbo up front, it should at least make the same, if not more. But, you know, maybe I'm not thinking about it right. Like I said, guys, I've always been a nitrous guy. This is my first turbo build. So, you know, if you want to share some knowledge, by all means, share it. But anyway, guys, stay tuned because I am going to try to get all this ironed out. Unfortunately, what I would really love to do is I would love to just buy a bigger turbo and throw on there, like maybe a 78 or even an 80 millimeter, just say hell with it and, you know, shoot for the moon. But that's never what this truck has been about. But that's honestly, that's what I'm thinking I want to do. The problem is I don't have the money for that right now. So this may be a waiting game for you guys. Now I've got other stuff that I actually need to do to the truck, body work, stuff like that. So what we may end up doing is, you know, saving up a little bit of money for a bigger turbo if I determine that that's the problem, and you know, maybe go from there. You know, work on the body work and maybe even the suspension a little bit while I'm saving the money up, because I've actually got a lot of stuff here that I need to do the body work. I just haven't done it yet. If you've got any suggestions, leave it in the comments down below. If you like this video, click the thumbs up button. If you want to see more, if you've not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe now. And if you are a subscriber, I really appreciate you guys. It's times like this that you're really keeping the project going, because knowing somebody's watching is the main reason I'm not just backing out of the whole turbo thing right now. So anyway, get off YouTube, get out in the garage, and I will see you next time here on Bad Luck Garage. Bye.